In a world full of Fenty Beauty, y'all choose 420. In a world full of NARS, y'all choose Marquises. In a world full of Maybelline, for my drugstore people, y'all choose Coconut. Welcome back, you guys. Today's video, I've had this idea for such a long time because I wanted to talk about the golden shade, okay? Now, back in the day, we always had that excuse of, there's not a lot of shades. There's only 1 or 2 shades that can work for us, and that's all we can pick from. And when I say us, I mean us, chocolate people, okay? But nowadays, there's a whole line of products when it comes to like the high-end and drugstore, and yet we still go ahead and pick that one shade. And y'all know exactly the shade I'm talking about, like that shade right there. You go in Sephora, it is sold out. You go in Ulta, it is sold out. I'm like, listen, there is millions of people that live in this country. We cannot all be the same shade. And trust me, I have been through this myself personally, you guys. I have always chose the chestnut, the coconut, like any shade that you can think of that's right in the middle, like that golden shade. When it comes to concealers and foundation, I used to always pick that, and I noticed my makeup just never matched. Like there was always something wrong, and it took a lot of time for me to find key products that actually work for me in terms of the undertone and the shades and all of that. And I want to show you guys what it looks like and do half my face with those golden popular shades, and then my other side of my face with my products that actually work for my skin tone. So it's gonna be a fun video, and it's more so to educate you guys, not to make fun of, because I've been through it and I just want to share my thoughts. Okay, so starting with foundation, I do have the Fenty Beauty foundation in the shade 420. Okay, I just want to make sure 420. I can't see sometimes. So with this foundation, everybody and their mom was 420, and it was just so funny to me because like we weren't. And the crazy part was Fenty came out with so many shades, y'all, like so many shades to pick from, and we still felt like we're all 420. But the thing about it is, with Fenty, they're very inclusive, and even with inclusive brands, I do notice a lot of us still go for, that typical shade. But this one isn't terrible, okay? But the thing about it is, y'all can really tell it is super light on my face. But this is what I swore by when it first came out. I was like, listen, what shade are you? 525? Oh, I'm 420. Okay, like we all just knew and thought we were the same shade. And don't get me wrong, I can make this work with a little bit of bronzer and whatnot. I can definitely make this work, but if I'm being honest with myself, it's not my ideal shade. So this is 420 on this side. It doesn't look terrible, you guys. It kind of looks good. Hold on. So for me, actually, I have more of a neutral undertone. I'm not really golden. So the Pat McGrath Lab Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Foundation and the shade Medium Deep 27 is one that I have been using recently. And I'm just like, this matches me perfectly. So let me go ahead and show you guys what that looks like on the face. So it's a little bit more deeper, but it still has that neutral base to it. And I'll show you guys the difference on my skin. So we're gonna start off with this much. With this foundation, I don't really need too much, but I'm gonna go ahead and blend this out on the skin. And you guys will see the difference in what I mean. Like this side is great, right? But this side here, I feel like for me and my skin tone, it just melts. Like you're not seeing a huge difference right away. It's just like, girl, this is your skin tone in a bottle, okay? And I want some of us to realize that, we have golden undertones, we have red undertones, we have neutral undertones. Like there's more than just like that golden shade in the middle. And honestly, being a makeup girly, a lot of you guys are probably like, well, Chichi, we already know about this. A lot of people don't, okay? I talk to a lot of girls, and I meet a lot of girls. A lot of people don't really know what shade to go for. They just look up what's popular out there and run with that. But I'm just trying to show you guys what it looks like when you actually pick one that matches your skin tone. Like look at this, look at this. Like look at the shade match. And the cool part about being neutral, like a neutral undertone, is I can kind of pull both. It's so crazy seeing it on camera. I can really pull both. But if you were to tell me which one I would prefer, I will say this, just because after you highlight and bake and all of that, you do tend to get a little bit lighter. So it's better to go with something that's more of your skin tone than this side, which will look a little bit lighter and ashy, as I highlight my face, use my baking powder, and all of that. Now for concealer, we're gonna move on to the ideal concealer that everybody and their mom used back in the day. This is a Tarte Deep Concealer. Now I do believe they have more shades, but this was this is I'm sorry. This was the only shade we all used back in the day, and it's so crazy. Like, I actually think this is probably darker than my Fenty. No, it's a little bit lighter. But this is the shade that we all used back then, okay? Again, like I tell you guys, it is not terrible, but it's really insane how we all tried to make this work for us, you know, despite like all being different skin tones. I just think it's so funny to me. So I'm gonna blend this in on this side, and I want to show you guys what that looks like. This is more of like a golden concealer. It is a little bit neutral, but I will show you guys my Path McGrath that I actually use and what that looks like on my face. But we're gonna add this on there just a little bit more, just to cover the under eyes, and blending this into the skin. You guys can see, because the Fenty foundation is already light, me adding this, everything's just starting to look super light on this side. And this is how I used to walk around all the time. I'm like, listen, like, these are like my shades, like, you can't tell me otherwise. But honestly, with makeup, the more you do your research and you find what works for you, you just notice, okay, like, I can do a little bit better than this. So we finished blending this side out. Now I'm gonna move on to the other side. I'm using the Path McGrath Labs Concealer in the shade M21. Now this is a lot lighter, but it's a neutral undertone, which works for my skin tone. And also because I do have my right, you know, foundation shade on this side, it's not gonna look ashy. It actually kind of works together. So I'm gonna take this, put a little bit in the inner and outer forehead, right here and right here. All right, so starting with the forehead, I'm gonna blend that into the skin. Now blending this in, of course, it's gonna look light at first, but the cool part about concealers, y'all, you can go a lot lighter, but it's all about how you bronze and your foundation shade. Like, if your foundation shade is good, you can kind of play with it a little bit more. Now, if your foundation shade is wrong, so this is both sides, you guys, and in my opinion, which side looks more lifted, alive? You know what I mean? I say this side, in my opinion, it just has like a nice contrast going, whereas this side, yeah, concealed, but everything looks the same and light and all of that. And I will bronze to show you guys just what it will look like with bronzer on top. But the last part that I do want to talk about is powders. Now, back in the day, we used to go for the yellowest of yellowest powder. A lot of people, when they think of banana powders, they just go straight to the deepest one. And it took me time to realize the deepest shade for your powder is not necessarily the best when it comes to banana. Like, there's different shades of banana, okay? So the one I used to use all the time was the Nessa Myricks Evolution powder and the shade number 3. I think I was obsessed with this just because when it first came out, ooh, it's a lot of powder that came out. This was like the deepest shade for like a yellow powder back then. Like, it was so deep, I was like, I need to have it. And I still love the fact that it went this deep, because a lot of people out there do need that. But I want to show you what it looks like on the skin, because for me, it didn't do too much for me. It kind of took away if anything. So I'm just gonna press that right into the skin. And I think I was obsessed with this just because it's so lightweight, you guys, like super lightweight. I really like that if you don't want something heavy. I'm gonna set the rest of this side as well. And on the other side, we're gonna use a Huda Beauty powder. This is their banana bread powder. Now, when you first see it, it looks a little bit scary, but I'm telling you guys, like, literally, once you go ahead and find the powder that works for you, it makes the biggest difference. Because for powders, for me, and it just depends on what you're looking for, I like powders that lift the face and add brightness. This one, I'm not really getting a lot of brightness, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this and look up and press this into the skin. So now that we did both sides, I'm gonna go ahead and set the face. I'm using Make It Forever powder because I want you guys to get a good idea of what everything looks like once you have your powders and your bronzer, okay? Because right now it looks a little bit crazy on both sides, but let me go ahead and make it look decent. So now this is both sides after I set my face, and now we're gonna bronze with the NARS bronzer and the shade number 8. I want to say, yeah, number 8. I'm gonna take this and just bronze the face. So now that I'm done with the bronzer, I want to come up close for you guys so y'all can see what the face is looking like. Okay, so I want to start with this side. In my opinion, this side, of course, just looks a little bit ashier. If I turn my face, it's a little bit ashier than my body. And don't get me wrong, y'all, it's not terrible. Like, I can walk out the door with this, but it's not doing so much for my features, in my opinion. I feel like it just looks light, obviously. Just something about it I'm just not obsessed with, of course, you know. But on this side, I feel like it's more realistic, especially if I turn my face. It just matches my skin tone because the foundation and the undertones, the highlight still pops a little bit, but not too much. It just looks a little bit more like me, if that makes sense. So it does take time to go ahead and find the perfect shades and, you know, undertones, but once you find it, you guys, I'm telling you, it's so worth it. And that's why I want to go ahead and do this video, not to like shame anybody, because your girl, y'all, I left my videos up for you guys from YouTube. Go back in the day, y'all will see for yourself what your girl is looking like, okay? But yeah, we're not always that middle shade, the chestnut, the coconut, or, you know, 420, whatever it is. We're not all the same shades. And yeah, that's it. That's all I want to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope it makes a little bit more sense what I'm trying to say. I don't know, I've had this idea for like weeks now, so I was like, let me just film it and, you know, we'll make it work. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, let me know your thoughts down below, and let me know like the other ideal shades that people always go for besides coconut and chestnut. Like, there's other fun names out there. Oh, mocha. How did I miss mocha? That's crazy. But regardless, let me know. You guys may like this side more. Let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think? What do you think? Okay, what do you think? So yeah, I can take it on the chin, y'all. I promise you I can take it on the chin.